Let me try to broaden the topic a bit. Let's talk about other things as well, China and the West Philippine Sea. Now, the Trump administration has consistently tried to paint Joe Biden as pro-China and Trump himself as pro-US and anti-China. Where are we headed with the Biden administration as far as the West Philippine Sea is concerned? Is Joe Biden going to be as antagonistic against China as Trump was, or will there be more of a meeting of minds or a consensus building among all the other stakeholders? Noel or Ricky?
Alam mo, in terms of foreign policy, ang approach naman ni Biden mas collaborative at hindi combative. At saka parang nare-recognize naman niya na US-China trade is so essential to both countries' economies na, I mean, hindi natin afford ang war for either side.
You might say it's a fact of life. I mean, even in the Philippines, it's a fact of life.
Yeah.
China products are here.
Yeah. So kung tied talaga yung economic fate natin sa isa't isa, parang hindi, wala masyadong sense mag-trade war. Although, yung European Union, nag-sign sila ng trade deal with China recently. But I think at the end of the day, the countries still look to the US to deal with China and to be influential in that region. And I think Biden can approach that challenge without starting a war na hindi naman niya ina-antagonize ang China, but instead, talagang trying to work with them.
Well, I bring
what
that up.
about his stance? Sorry,
Sige,
go ahead.
Okay, para just to follow that up, I bring that up kasi, for example, si Kurt Campbell, who was appointed by Biden as his Asia czar for the National Security Council, was the same guy who brokered the Scarborough deal in 2012, where in effect we lost Scarborough Shoal. Do you think this has any bearing on what's going to happen in the next few years? Does this have any implications on us? The fact that Kurt Campbell is the Asia czar.
Well, I don't think, kasi ang pinaprioritize naman ng US in terms of foreign policy is that ma-maintain muna yung relationships with other countries na sinira ni Trump. For instance, the European Union, that's one of them, and also just China. In fact, sa Iran, what I heard is that hinabla pa hinabla pa si President Trump ngayon, and may parting words pa yung Ayatollah nila ron about Trump. So yung Scarborough Shoal, I think they will not approach it as aggressively as
as Trump
did. I think kakaroon lang ng presence doon sa area, I think yung battleships and mga ibang military
freedom of navigation sorties.
Yes,
that's what they call it.
Yeah.
But what about but what about the mutual defense treaty? Is there a chance that that we can still haggle for better terms, at least moving forward, from the United States with Joe Biden there? Plus the fact that si President Duterte, as you know, moved to suspend to abrogate the visiting forces agreement, although he suspended the abrogation date. How do you think a Biden presidency will take to a Duterte policy on the West Philippine Sea? And in general, on the mutual defense treaty?
Ang sa akin, I think because the US always wants to maintain their interest in all of the regions. They want to maintain their supremacy, or leadership, I should say, leadership in the world, as protector of everything. So I think what they would do is that i-ano lang nila yung i-enforce nila yung assistance nila to troubled countries, and being Philippines one of them, Kanya nga, I think there's a need for the Philippine government to actually explore ways on how to really get into that mutual understanding na naman no? Because there's a conflict between Philippine policy ngayon, no? And I could understand that dahil, for instance, si Duterte is what he wants is yung multi-assistance, so that's why he got in touch with China, with Russia, and not solely rely on the US.
Yes, yes, right.
Ganyan.
Oo,
And-
kaya pinangangalandakan niya yung Sinovac vaccine and the Gamaleya, di ba? I mean, yan ang mga, kasi ayaw niyang mag-appear as being so dependent on US-made vaccines, no? So, yun na nga. So, ako, ang question ko nga dyan is, how do you think Biden and, his foreign affairs people will take to that? Are they going to, kowtow? Are they going to stand firm, or will they care? I think that's the question. No? Will they even
will they
care? Really?
Or collateral damage ba tayo?
Kaya nga eh.
No, I think they will care.
Yeah,
They
will
will
care.
care. They will care. Yeah, because it's in their interest. It's in the U.S. interest, really, to protect the Philippines. Because kung mawala na ang Philippines doon, sino pa ang nila ron? Wala I mean,
Asia Pacific.
the Philippines already has all the structure, no? Na military and lahat, no? And they know the Philippines well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't think i-abandon nila tayo. Yeah, it's
Hindi,
give and take, I
tsaka-
think.
Yeah, Noelle.
I agree.
No, well,
Yes, Noelle.
for example, what about the issue of human rights? Will it be a ticklish
Oh, yeah.
issue between the president, our president, and Joe Biden? Remember the last time a Democrat was in office, medyo maanghang yung palitan ng salita.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sa human rights, sa tingin ko, ang talagang umbrella goal ni Biden is iangat ulit yung standing ng US as the leader.
Correct.
And also the reputation na na-tarnish after 4 years of Trump. I think mas magiging vocal ang Democratic government under Biden against human rights violations to the extent na ipursue nila ang economic sanctions or actual military presence, hindi ko pa alam.